Hold on. Okay. I don't know if I want to do it, chat. Should we go through the okay, how many comments are there? Okay, not that many. Okay. Here's a thumbnail for those that didn't see. Demon Mama uploaded the debate we had. This is the thumbnail. I don't know why we're so sweaty. It wasn't even heated. I don't know what this is. You guys, if you guys can't tell, I'm literally doing everything I can to not go and look at the comments. I don't want to do this, chat. I really don't. I can't be bothered. It's gonna give me an aneurysm. Okay. Okay. Oh. Oh. Mm. Okay. Okay, let's see what this is. Okay, first comment. Okay, we're zooming in. Children don't have the desire to do literally nothing. Exactly. They have the desire to do whatever is the most fun. And whatever is the most fun is probably not going to be going to school. It's probably going to be playing Fortnite. Children, literally every human, have an innate desire to keep busy. Yeah, Fortnite can keep you mad busy. Have you seen how long people binge that game? Holy shit. The problem is our system of productivity so deeply ingrained in our rationale that we think tasks like exploring outside, playing games, and crafting equate to unworthy tasks. These tasks hold value and do not value directly draw us from being a productive worker. These things are valuable. And these are things we kind of value in society, right? There are plenty of clubs and stuff that do these types of things like sports and, you know, just other like scouts and stuff like that, which is, you know, kind of like fun and whatever. But just because people like playing games and like playing outside doesn't mean that they're going to be able to learn the very like complex and specific knowledge that you can acquire from school. I think each school should have their own autonomy to create their curriculums. Nice, exciting. I am so excited to go and visit the schools in like a bumfuck village in like Illinois and see that they're literally teaching like QAnon to like the kids there and being like, hey, you know, listen to Q, guys. He's the better teacher. We're Q's agents. We are, and we should just listen to Q when he comes around. If you see a Democrat, watch out because they might do unspeakable things to you because, you know, they're Democrats. I mean, Q exposed it. It was the whole Pizzagate thing, right? Yeah, this is a terrible idea. Even further, each education choose how to teach a child. I mean, that makes sense. Having, like, specific education for different children. That makes sense because children develop and learn in different ways. Sure. Child is paired with a counselor who has a regular conversation with the child. One counselor per kid might be a bit difficult. But having some form of counselor, having a more like direct connection with somebody in the school staff is a really good idea. Typically, schools that have better like that, where kids feel like they have a decent connection to one of the members of staff, perform a lot better than ones where they feel like they're entirely insulated from them. So that's a good start. Who has regular conversation. The child's likes, interest, method, learning hobbies are used to create personalized learning plan. That might be a bit difficult just from a resource perspective to be able to do that. I think that investing in education is probably one of the best investments a society could ever make. Individualized learning plans where children get to incorporate their desires could hopefully be a better step towards children. The first step is to listening and observing kids and molding education for them, not molding kids into it. Cool. So, this first paragraph has a bit to do with the actual subject of the debate, which is the mandatory education or whatever. But this second thing fits perfectly into my argument of reforming education. This one right here is just, I said, like, I agree with most things here. And I think that you should do these things, but school should still be mandatory. And the only thing that was kind of anti-mandatory sounded like it was this first part here. And that's what I disagreed with more than the second part. So yeah, that was okay. Would you take an issue with the KKK? Yeah, okay, hold on. Actually, never mind. This first sentence here, I disagreed with that. I forgot about, I thought that this was part of this paragraph. Wait, is this Mel? Which is why we see a reduction in creativity expression that comes out of them. So things should be fixing the system, not taking people out of it and making them neats. I drew balls today. I feel quite epic about it. Wow. Thank you, Glooby, for giving us a nice, well-deserved break from going through these comment sections. These are fine so far. I'm Vic. Hello, Gemini. Wouldn't it be amazing if we get kids to look forward to school as much as they look forward to playing games? I adore games, but I also love learning. I want to simply as possible to engage. Okay. We should obviously strive to make school as fun as possible for people. 100%. But we should still make sure that they go there. I wish these debates didn't always get so heated. I don't think it was my fault that it went heated, Robin Summer, but I agree. I kind of see a child given full freedom and the chance to not attend any schooling turns out as anything but little hellspawn. True! Reticulated spline. Very cool. Thank you. Respect is when I tell people what to do, and if they don't do what I tell them to do... Oh, okay, hold on. Respect is when I get to tell people what to do, and if they don't do what I tell them to do, then they don't respect me. That is not true. Or I guess it's just very simple, like simplistic. Like, You can have authority on the basis of respect, but all like authority doesn't entail necessarily respect. And one of the things I mentioned, or why you should like teachers have justification in having authority, is because you want to foster some form of respect between student and teacher and to understand how it works. Okay, here we go. Oh, we're getting the paragraphs. Here it begins. Okay, the problem I have with talking about in the way that Rosers does here is this sort of idea that people have. I personally think that arises from a lot of conduct of professional bourgeoisie. Okay, hold on. What is this clip?
Over just like a very recent example is the attitudes around like BLM and police brutality and stuff like that over the summer. How we had periods of time in which there was so much public support and people thinking about police issues in these ways, but because we lacked like these super like clear issues, we didn't really get much done. And that's kind of my issue when we see with having just, okay, the goal is just to have discourse. But as long as you don't have any like clear policies that are clear and are well defined to work towards, nothing really ends up happening. That's why I personally like policies. Now, I did hear.
Okay, this is an amazing argument. Oh my god, I fucking love this argument. Wow, incredible. Obviously, and this is because the mama said that I was policy brained. And I couldn't think outside of policy. And she just said, oh, the main thing is just discourse. And I was like, hey, discourse is kind of worthless if you don't have policy to back it up. Case in point, BLM, there was so much public support, so much popular will. But because there wasn't like a clear plan of, okay, this is what we do, nothing happened. And it just kind of died there. So let's see what the problem with the argument is. The problem I have with talking about this way and the way the Rosers does is the sort of idea that people have, and I think that personally arises from the conduct of the professional bourgeoisie commentariat, but which has absolutely become a feature of the political streaming scene. So we're halfway in, and it's just bourgeoisie so far. Is the idea that discussions progress policy. I'm using the phrasing of policy here because that's how Rosers speaks about it. This is untrue. Organization structures further policy. The function of the professional bourgeoisie commentariat is to provide the rationalizations, public face, or investigations of institutional policy and practice. The masturbatory fantasy of those commentators is sometimes that they make the policy, but this only occurs in their minds. In our sphere, it would be helpful for us not to conceive of our position in that way because we want to avoid the pitfalls of larger professional media where possible. What the fuck does this mean? Does anyone know what this means? Does anyone understand what this means? This just feels like a word salad to me. Let me try one more time. Organizations and structures further policy. Not only, though, so for instance, BLM was a very, very like popular support-driven thing caused by the killing of George Floyd, and then there was all the baggage behind it that was also brought to the surface as well, and you got a lot of popular will behind it. The function of the professional bourgeoisie commentariat, I guess that's me, is to provide the rationalizations, public face, or investigations of institutional policy and practice. The masturbatory fantasy of these commentators is sometimes that they make the policy, but this occurs only in their minds. What does this mean? I don't understand. I don't understand. The fantasy of these commentators is sometimes that they make the policy, but this only occurs in their minds. In our sphere, it would be helpful for us not to conceive of our position in that way because we want to avoid the pitfalls of larger... Okay. So they don't want to discuss any... This is how this understands to me, okay? This is how this reads to me. That they don't want to talk about policies because professional bourgeoisie commentariat ends up picking up on policies. And that's bad. Because now we're working within the system. I don't understand, guys. I really don't. I'm so sorry. I guess that the main thing here is just that, I don't know, they don't like policy because it's talked about by media. So therefore we should have no policy and then therefore also get nothing done. I don't understand this.
The demand was, we are going to be liberated. We have shown up in great numbers. We refuse to be second-class citizens. You
Swede brain on full display.
either make room for
That's
us.
a policy. That's a policy.
No, wrong.
Yes.
Wait.
That is a policy.
That is a policy that the state has forced on other people.
something can be a policy and like a political goal at the same time.
And now you are showing me why the word policy doesn't mean anything. All you're talking about is people resisting against an unjust law of secondhand citizenship that was put on them, a law they didn't write, a law that they, despite living in a democratic system, did not have any choice in putting over them. They resisted that law. They broke the law. They showed up in person. They trespassed.
And then we speedrun this discussion, and in return, what ended up happening is that you ended up passing a policy that got rid of those bad laws. You ended up passing the Civil Rights Act and getting rid of second-class citizens, Jim Crow, and all the rest of it. So now he's saying that all these things are policies. Okay, yes, Jim Crow is a policy. Second-class citizenship is a policy. Trying to repeal those things and get rid of those are policies. And I have to point out that this is the myth that politicians love to push, that policy progress society. Oh, for fuck's sake. Because it tricks you into either patting them on the... No, it's not policy that's progressing society. Policy is the goal of a political movement. It should be the goal, at least, unless you're Demon Mama and you don't believe policy has any value. Because it tricks you into either patting them on the back for writing it or making your criticism of the sin... I'm so sad. I can't do this. Utilizing and looking at politics in large part through the biggest conglomerate of power we have, the state, is bad because the state is a big conglomerate of power and is a big part of our current political paradigm. Cool. So then what the fuck do we do? Do we do what ended up happening with BLM, where we just have all this discourse, but then don't have any policies and don't do anything with it? Or do we try to work the very best we can in a wide range of different things, doing, organized, like decentralized action, helping out local communities, and also focusing on like elections, local ones and national or federal ones or whatever. You want to do as much as possible, right? You want to ensure that you can enact as much political power as possible to solve these issues in whatever way best, sees fit. I want people to notice what happens here. Okay, you're about to hear a slippery debate tactic, I guess.
The way I view this is that It is absolutely 100% okay, and we do this all the time, to limit a child's autonomy when it comes to a wide range of questions in which we generally societally believe that the outcomes for them are superior if we make the decisions for them. Education, fucking excellent example of this, okay? Things like, for example, the fact that kids will, if they had a free choice, probably not go to school. They would probably sit home playing Fortnite or doing something else.
That says something more about school than it does about Fortnite. Or about society.
Or it says
And to be clear, Demon Mama agrees with this because later in the debate we give an example of like, hey, should the state restrict the child's autonomy to do what's best for them in the case of it, somebody that's about to like off themselves or whatever. And Demon Mama says, yeah, that's fine. So I don't know. Okay, let's see what the nefarious debate tactic is here. I want people to notice what happens here. Immediately we begin talking about what we do all the time, and those appeals to normality. They almost sneak their way in. Who cares about what we do all the time? You hear this type of argument constantly. The reason why I say we do this all the time is because unless Demon Mama is taking the front and taking the attack on getting rid of these mandates or getting rid of these things that childs have to do on all of these fronts, then she can't apply that same argument to the situation of education. Unless she can make a good argument for why education isn't the same, which we never really got there. So it wasn't really like an appeal to normality, just explaining like how widespread and that we do this a lot, and that hopefully we don't disagree with the fact that there are a wide range of ways in which we should limit a child's autonomy. I don't know. These are just 3 non-points. I don't really know what to do with this. Demon Mama was aiming for the root cause, which was the larger problem, or which I don't even know what the fuck the root cause is. We never really got to that. And he's ragging on about changes within the system that is historically taking years or decades to implement a fraction of what needs fixing. I feel like being. I feel like being too sometimes, buddy. I don't even know what this means. I don't know if they think it's more likely that we have like a big socialist revolution and bedtimes and school mandates are abolished, or if it's more likely that we reform and try to work with a school system towards making it better. And we have a bunch of examples to pull from, especially in the United States of America, who are leagues behind so many other countries who have realistically been able to achieve so many improvements in schooling. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the revolution is more likely than, huh? Education level correlates directly with being more progressive. Requiring a school leads to more free society schools. The reason why we had a chance of escaping fascism. Based take by Bazooka Llama Productions. Very cool. Sockdems turn hard authoritarian real quick when you tell them no. Yeah, it turns out you have to have some rules to which you can say no to secure the welfare of society, especially in regards to children. Yeah, I get it. You, God damn it, dude. Oh my god. Hey, so kids are kind of brain dead a little bit. Sometimes they don't know what's best for them because they're fucking kids and they don't know a lot of stuff and their brains aren't fully developed and they kind of struggle with making a few decisions. So we can kind of like agree that for their best interest, we're gonna be like, hey, let's try to help out a bit and get them on the right path by preventing them from doing certain things, forcing them from doing certain things, and then hopefully, you know, in the future we'll have best outcomes for them, and that's why we choose to do that. And hey, if it was bad for them, then hey, when those people grow up as kids, they are now adults, they now have a voice in the democratic process, and they can change that if they really want to. And then the other side is just like, oh, I guess you hate kids, lol. Like, I'm also in favor of mandating vaccines. Oh, are they going to respond to that one? Nope. Yikes, Ronaldo McLean. And then it was dead. The conversation ended after this absolute banger. Oh, here we go. Oh no, what happened? Oh no, I'm NFT brain. Oh no, here it goes. It's too bad that Rose decided to succumb to the NFT brain. He used to sound like such a reasonable person, but then he spoke with my favorite political content creator, and now he's a debate bro. Unfortunate. But the prospect of getting what he imagined would be easy dunks was too tempting. I could have been so much meaner. I could have. You guys want to know? You guys want to know how mean I could have been? Okay, this is an example of me. This is an example of me, and I could have been so mean here, but I decided not to. Okay. So one of the silly statements that Demon Mama had made in her video was that an average 14-year-old is not meaningfully more intelligent or responsible than an 18-year-old. She first thought I hadn't even said that, or that she hadn't said that, and she was really like, oh, prove to me that I said that, give me the timestamp. And then I found it, and she was like, no, I guess it seems like I did say that. Oops, my bad. But with this, what I ended up doing is like, hey, so I read this out. Like, do you still believe in this? Do you remember saying this? Was this hyperbole? It was so soft on that. You know what I could have done? I could have been like, well, Demon Mama, since you don't believe an average 14-year-old is more meaningfully intelligent or responsible than an 18-year-old, then why aren't you in favor of lowering the age of consent to 14? Like, come on. I mean, if there's no difference between 18 and 14, then you might as well lower it to 14, right? I mean, if there's no difference in intelligence or responsibility, then just fucking do it. That's the type of shit I could have done if I wanted easy dunks, okay? But that's not what I did, because I wasn't out there looking for fucking easy dunks, okay? Like, it would have been really mean, and it would have been, like, rude, I guess. But, like, it would be a statement that would be justifiable by what was being said before. But instead I was like, hey, do you still believe this? Like, you know. So I love how, like, I did very exceptionally for, like, few, like, things that could even be considered rude. And even that I'm, like, a easy dunk, bro. He used to sound like such a reasonable person, but the prospect of getting what he imagined would be easy dunks was too tempting. He'd rather childishly pretend politician than have an actual discussion regarding the core mechanisms of the system and the way that things could be done instead. That was what I was doing. I was literally trying to get a discussion about what we could do instead. But that's not what ended up happening. And the gutting is me saying like, hey, this is what we should do, and Demon Mom being like, well, system bad. Don't ask me what to do. And if you ask me what to do, I will say like, make library stronger, which is like, that's like a Stockton policy easily. He basically made it impossible to have a real conversation because he was so desperate to derail it. It's really sad, actually. He used to have so much respect for the guy. Damn! Ay. I don't understand how you could watch this debate and think I'm the one derailing it. Everything I said had to do with like what was being discussed there. And every like 15 minutes, Demon Mama would be like, okay, let's bring this into a meta discussion about your rhetoric and how bad faith you are or whatever. But I'm the one that was trying to derail it. And I don't know what the fuck NFT brain. Like, like my most recent video since once I had debated Demon was literally one where I shit on Destiny a bit for promoting NFTs. Like, I don't even know what this is. I can't be bothered. If DM is against the concept of mandatory schooling, I'm unsubscribing immediately. Damn! Education is the only thing stopping the church from ruling the world like the 1400s. Sure, change what's taught, whatever. Goodbye, Demon Mama. Goodbye, Chad. Damn! Wow, Bazooka Llama. Where did people against mandatory schooling even go after accomplishing that? Okay, base. I can't think of any situation where no mandatory schooling would be good. Base. And here we have, yikes, the disagreement. Nice to know you didn't bother watching the video and DM stated intentions. Sure, she might have good intentions, maybe, but if it's just so incredibly... There's no way, there's no mechanization by which you bring your policy or your goal, like, or what you want to do towards your intentions, then it doesn't matter. Have a nice life. Continue pretending anything meaningful is going to happen like a two-part... Party electoral system. Oh yes, here we go. I'm really disappointed in Rosers here. Of course I have bias in this, but I was willing to think he would engage in good faith. The awkward moments of searching for contradictions within hyperbole. Make it clear this was going to be just another debate and not a discussion. That was what I just talked about. The only time we talked about hyperbole was in that final statement. And I could have jumped off that and used it, be like, okay, with that we can justify any number of really fucked up things. But I didn't do that. What I did instead was like, hey, do you still believe this? And you know what? We're gonna watch it. You're gonna see that segment. Dude. All right, look at this. This is me trying to go for a bad faith gotcha. Are we ready for this? Another thing that's like when I was watching the video, I'm curious. Do you believe that the average 14-year-old is not like meaningfully more intelligent or responsible than the average 18-year-old?
What?
Do you believe that the average 14-year-old is not meaningfully more intelligent or responsible than the average 18-year-old?
Do you mean the other way around? That an 18-year-old is?
I mean, it doesn't matter what order it's around. Do you believe that they're?
I mean, I think as a very general rule, probably most 18-year-olds are smarter than 14-year-olds. Okay. They've lived for 4 more years in an incredibly like major part of development, but that's not entirely true. There are all kinds of precocious teenagers who've been really good. I think like there's not just outliers either. I think there are a lot of students who are really smart at the age of 14, and there's a lot of students who are.
But we're going by the average, right? For those of you saying this is a weird question, this is taken verbatim from a video. So.
I mean, sure. I mean, sure. Okay. I don't know what you're getting at, and I don't know.
No, I'm genuinely like curious if that's like something that you believe or it's just like a rhetorical.
Wait, what?
Thing.
I do not know what you're talking about.
Okay,
like,
the question was, do you believe that the average 14-year-old is not meaningfully more intelligent or responsible than the average 18-year-old? Do you believe that an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old are on average at the same degree of intelligence or responsibility?
No, probably not. No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think so. Did I?
That was said in your first video.
What did I say? Can you quote me that?
It was about whether or not you were saying this in.
Can you quote? No, I want you to quote me it. If you're going to try and quote
I can give you the context, and maybe you could remember, and then maybe we didn't need to.
Yeah, please, that would be fantastic.
So the context of this. You see, you're kind of like, did I actually say that? Give me context. If you're going to quote something at me, give me the full context. I want to make sure you're not misrepresenting this. Was that you were saying that people won't choose to attend classes, and you said, well, at 18 we expect people to be able to attend classes, and there isn't a meaningful difference in like responsibility and intelligence between a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old on average. So therefore, we shouldn't be worried about them not choosing to do classes because at 18 years old they choose to do classes. Now let me see. Hopefully you have transcript.
I don't know. Maybe that doesn't sound like my wording at all, nor does it sound like my argument. But
okay, perfect. I have quoting. So from the video, Magma Hot Take: Compulsory Schooling Sucks at 35:04 in college. And let me tell you, the average 18-year-old who's going into college is not smarter than the average 14-year-old. Not meaningfully. They're just as dumb.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess let's watch it. Let's see.
Okay, I read out the transcript, but you can watch this as well.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. Is there context there or something? I don't know.
It's you talking about whether or not they're going to go to school.
We already do this in college. Maybe I meant it the other way. Let me tell you, the average 18-year-old who's going to college is not smarter than the average 14-year-old. Not meaningfully. They're just as dumb. But in
35:04.
35:04. Let's bring it up here. I'll put it on the screen and everything.
Oh no.
35:04. Let's see.
Oh no. This. You guys will see. You can see how hard I'm trying not to laugh here when I see her watching it. You can look at my face. I'm trying so hard.
Here we go. Hold on. Okay.
This is my trying not to laugh face.
All right. Yeah, that's probably a little bit hyperbolic. But I mean, I still think that my overall point stands there. My overall point, which was that with regard to showing up to class on time, a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old is about the same. But yeah, it was a little bit hyperbolic. I mean, obviously, on average, 18-year-olds are going to be a little bit smarter. But
meaningfully, do you think it would be meaningfully smarter?
Yeah, I think it would be meaningfully smarter. But I mean, like, you're grabbing from a stream, and you're talking about a very specific point in which I was referring in the context of that video very specifically to their ability to show up on time without getting in trouble. And for that, I absolutely think there's basically no difference between an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old. I showed up, I drove I didn't drive myself in that particular case, but I went out to the bus and got to my classes on time for high school just as easily as I did at 18. For that particular thing, yeah. I mean, sure. I will gladly own that was a little bit hyperbolic, that particular line, but I still think that within the context, my point completely stands, which is that in the context of attending classes on time, there's no real meaningful difference between an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old with regard to being able to show up on time. Right. And that seems to be reflected by basically every school in America having kids show up to class at 14 on time for the entirety of high school.
Yep, I would basically, I would still disagree to some extent, although it's less inflammatory, so I disagree less. But I was just like checking for consistency, really. And then I have one final thing. That was me being bad faith, guys. That was me going for a bad faith gotcha. That right there. Did you guys see that? All the bad faith I did there? I know, guys. It's so terrible. Me literally like holding her hand through the entirety of the statements that she made, giving her way out, giving her the full context, giving her timestamps. That's the bad faith. I'm so sorry, guys. My bad. My bad, guys. Oh my god. So back to the comment in question. I'm really disappointed in Rosers here. Of course I have bias in this, but I was willing to go in thinking he would engage in good faith. The awkward moments of searching for contradictions within hyperbole. Oh, I can tell you, the awkward moments, they were not on my behalf. The awkwardest of awkward moments was when she seemed like she disagreed with the fact that she'd ever said that, and then she spent 20 seconds watching that entire clip and being like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh god, oh fuck. That was the awkward moment, okay? Nothing else. Made it clear that this was going to be just another debate, bro, and not a discussion. Wow. I thought the conversation would be good faith, but I was disappointed in Rose's arguments. And he got stuck in weird places that didn't help the conversation at all, like teacher's authority. At times like this, it feels like you just wanted dunks and not listen to what DM had to say. I did more listening in that debate than probably the majority of DM Mama viewers have ever listened to a teacher. Here's a statistic. Wait, you actually made this? Oh, there's a thing. There's a breakdown here. DM Mama 67%, Roses 32%. Damn, 70% is what I said. This is a funny credit spirit. Are you getting okay? Can I be on it? Can I ask you a question? Are you getting like flustered with this conversation? I'm asking you a question. You're running into like we're skipping so many things. It's getting very. This feels like a meme. This feels like a copy pasta. God damn. It was exactly what I was aiming for. You can tell he's deliberately refusing to address DM's response. This is why it's so obvious. This is how I know that this is so empty when there are no examples provided. It's just me that says my arguments are bad. No examples, and no examples for why they're bad. I don't respond to DM's responses. No examples of what things I failed to respond to. It's just that I'm bad at it. Can you say Rose came in there for dunks when it was DM who attacked his character way more than Rose did? Rose even made it a point to bring this up, and DM said that it was a weak gotcha. Not when he's deliberately refusing to engage with the topic and hearing out Demon Mama. I honestly think Demon Mama was being pretty patient with... Yes, that's true. Demon Mama was the patient one. And he refused to even address it when he got called out for it. So no, he's disingenuous and went in knowing full well people's assumptions about DMs. DM talked more, interrupted more, and said way more insults than Roach. She's complaining about being treated in this way in other debates, so why should it be excused when she does the same? Only because the other party deliberately rattles her. How? I'm gonna tell you this, okay? The first hour of that debate, it's the most AstroTurf debate anyone could ever have had. It was an interview. It wasn't even a debate for the first hour. And it was so chill and it was so calm, okay? It was nothing. It was entirely nothing. Literally just an interview. And yet still we had this moment pop up. So this is 1 hour and 10 minutes in. Very little confrontation, 90% speaking time, Demon Mama. Okay? And then we get this.
Then I just don't think it's a good argument. I think it's a bad argument. I think there's hold on. If you want me to lay out specifically on BLM, this is an issue that's big. We don't have to. We can pivot off it. We can go away.
Trust me, I have done quite a bit on BLM.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have.
Right.
I'm sure you have.
Okay. Oh yeah, that was weird as well. When she tried to leverage and be like, I know I do a lot about BLM, so this is a very important issue to me. Okay, whatever.
That's fine.
Now, let's... Yeah, I need to try to even out the speaking part. I'm sorry, I'm being a lot more
Listen, hey, hold on. Wait. Let me put something. You're on my show right now. If you have a problem with me talking too much when you're asking me a whole bunch of questions about my views, you can keep that. You can box that up because that actually really annoys me. I understand that you're frustrated about the speaking time or whatever, but you've been mostly asking me questions. So that's the natural progression of when you ask me big, deep questions about my views. Yeah. That's going to happen. So I'd appreciate if you'd box that up, and if you want to talk, just use your spine, use your chest, and speak up and say you want to say something. Okay.
All right, great. Let's do that then. Okay, so and that was 1 hour of after an interview, and I'm the one who deliberately rattled her. It's funny saying that when Roses was a lot more egregious in that respect. He kept asking questions and interrupting her. I bet if you count interruptions until speaking time, DM would win all those metrics. You can try, but seeing as I'm watching the video again, nope, doesn't seem like it. Oh, well, just some dude scooting for some gotchas inspired by NFT Steve. Oh, yeah. 2 days before the debate, I literally make up a video calling out Destiny for the NFT thing. Okay. Dunked on Roses for liking studies. Yeah, exactly. I didn't even use a single study in that entire debate, and she was like, if you just want to talk about studies, I'm like, okay, cool. Kept pointing out that he was being flustered. That was just cringe. That was a cringe moment, guys. Do you guys remember that? So I reject this characterization as electoral politics or just politics in general or policy discussions mainly not having a big significant effect. And I want to ask a simple question then. Okay, you guys are about to see some big cringe. Are you guys ready for this? Are you guys ready for this? I'm not ready. I don't know if I can watch this. What do you believe has the best political impact? Is it number one? In Sweden, we have terrible drug policy. We have really, really bad drug policy. Almost borderline US when it comes to our legal code and how it functions. And coupled that with a bunch of other issues we have about crime, it is definitely contributing to that in a really, really large way and in a really, really bad way when it comes to the fact that marijuana, for instance, is illegal. Now, I want to ask you a simple question. What do you think is more productive political advocacy? Is it, number one, me sitting here discussing the issues that exist around marijuana laws in Sweden, for instance, and saying like, hey, we need to push towards legalization, we need to push towards decriminalization, we need to do this X, Y, and Z thing, and also here are the reasons for it, here are the ideological backings for it, here are the arguments for it, here is the discourse about it? Or is it more useful to be like, hey, I think mandatory schooling is bad, but there's not really any policy about it, and it's kind of just like there to create like an overall broad discourse thing, and I don't really know exactly where this is going to be funneled into, and the place that I wanted it to be funneled into is also things that are social democratic as well, so like, you know?
Dude, do you think that's do you really think that was a good question?
I'm asking it.
Are you getting like, okay, can I ask you an honest question? Are you getting flustered with this conversation?
I am asking you a question.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask you one, okay? Because it's starting to feel a little bit like, I feel like that was a pretty unfair comparison there.
Oh, fuck. I'm getting flustered, guys. Are you like getting flustered? Are you guys not capable of like having this conversation? Are you like nervous? Are you flustered? Are you not ready for this? Like, oh, okay. We move. Oh boy.
That felt a little bit like you're trying.
What's unfair? Okay. And then I asked her this about it. I asked her what's unfair about it.
You're saying, what would you rather do, this thing or let me talk about this thing about advocating for marijuana legalization, or
policy versus the discourse.
And then you went off on a huge tear about a completely different issue. Like, that is not.
That's true. When you talk about two different things, that is when you're flustered. That is how that works. When you compare two things that are not exactly the same, that is being flustered. That is a correct use of that word. Okay. Dunked on Rose for having notes. Oh yeah, that was also weird. So like, I don't care what your notes said. Your notes, bro. Like, I don't call them a cocoon of a debate, bro. Presumed what Rose was thinking about. That was so cringe. Not only was she saying what she was thinking about my debate style, but she also said what she was thinking. I was thinking about what she was saying. Ah, for fuck's sake. Now tell me where Rose insulted the mama. That's a good direct question. Good one, G-Force. Let's see what they say. Nope, still being annoying and refusing to engage with the topic, straw manning with 50 different questions and deliberately ignoring what Demon was saying for 1+ hour. The first hour was an interview. Try again, maybe if he stopped and actually thought about the things that other people were explaining to him instead of looking for constant gotchas. Nice, not a single example of where I insulted him. So you agree, Rose never resorted to insults. Never said anything about insults in the first place. Nice. I was being rude. I was trying to rattle her. I was doing this and doing that. But I never said he said anything insulting. You know, like going through the bond. Fuck. Did he say anything? You're literally pushing an NFT, Steve. Why are they doing this? Oh my god. I hope I'm not grouped in with people like Demon Mama because I made a video on the NFT thing. Fishing for gotcha instead of discussing the nuance of what led to the discussion turning spicy. Literally debate bro instead of actually 3 comments in a row. Damn. Hating on Demon for self-validation where you clearly refuse to criticize Rose is just an absurd double standard. Every single Demon I've hated have been unable to have any semblance of an intelligent and nuanced discussion, just results in Mama bad and Shapiro style gotcha. I'm curious. Can we name one other person that would have given like Demon Mama a less like confrontative and a smoother debate or discussion there? Can we name one person? I honestly don't think they exist. I don't think I'm like a saint or whatever or anything like that, but like one person. No, I don't mean like easy, like an easy debate. I mean like smooth, like non-confrontative, like more of like a conversation thing. Destiny, nice meme. If you think I am too confrontative, then I don't know who you would need to talk to you that's less confrontative. I don't understand. So any deliberate attempt to derail the conversation directed to something. A deliberate attempt to derail the content and direction to something completely different. The only person that derailed the content into discussions about bad faith, I know that's not what they're saying here, but that's Demon, but constantly brought up how bad faith I was. Nazis derailing gay rights and BLM movements as a human rights argument and framing them as violent propaganda by Antifa instead of thorough strawmanning isn't... Okay, Yeah, that's a decent. That's an okay jump. That makes sense. DM was respectful for the first half, even while Roserus was refusing to acknowledge and engage with her talking points while demanding her to engage with his by shooting off questions. You're literally defending how people like Ben Shapiro. I can't. That was it. Those were the YouTube trenches. That's what it's like. There we go, chat. I hope we enjoyed it. That brought me pain. I didn't enjoy that, guys.